Welcome to Tech Experiment. For today's experiment, we will be seeing how to send scheduled emails using Java. By scheduled emails, I mean you can set your own schedule to send emails, and the schedule would execute on its own, and you will see that the mails are being sent in particular times. So let's get quickly started. Today, I will be using Eclipse IDE to show you how the project is being set, but you are free to use your own IDE. There are two main dependencies for this project. One of them is Java Mail API. For those who don't know what Java Mail API is, it is a project developed and maintained by Oracle for mailing purposes within any Java application. So you can send mails, you can receive mails, and any mail transfer use cases within your application. So you just have to go to this link. I will post all the links used in this video in the description, and you have to download the jar file. If you are a Maven user, you can simply add the dependency to your project. Otherwise, go download the jar, and you will have to add it to your build path. I will show you very soon how that is also being done. And apart from Java Mail for sending and receiving mails, we will need the Quartz job scheduler. This is to take care of the scheduling part in our application. Like uh, we can send mails using Java Mail, but we have to schedule. We have to set times like when to send the mails, right? So for that, the Quartz job scheduler is really helpful. It is one of the most popular scheduling libraries that's being in use today. So again, similarly, you have to go download the uh, tar file for this. And yeah, so that's pretty much all about our dependencies. So let's see how we are going to code it out, right? Yeah, before that I have to show you how to add the archives. So if you go to the properties, and if you see, there is an option to add external jars, and in this you can add your whichever jar you downloaded, and that will show up here. Like if you can see, I have my Quartz ready, I have my mail ready. And I think for Quartz you also have to add the logger API. So for me it didn't work without the logger. It threw some error. So if you also face the error, then try to add these jars also. So that's for the setup. So now for the classes that are being used, there is an email util class that is being used. It contains a function called send email that takes in to email, subject and body as the parameter. To email is the receiver email to whom you want to send the mail, and the subject and the body to be sent. So from email and password are your email and your password. So to to send the message, you will need a session object, a message object, and finally a transport object. So let us see what these three are. So for the session object is basically like you are keeping your setting your authentication and your domain and everything. So the authentication object will just need your from email and password. The properties object will need the domain, the port numbers, and whatever if the authentication is true and if TLS is true and all that. So for Gmail, I think the TLS port is 587, and if you're using SSL, it is 465. So if you don't want to get into too many details, then you can directly use the classes as such. I will be posting the links to the code in the description. So that's that. And yeah, so the session object is this. Next you will need a my message object, which will take in the session object as an input, and you can add the headers. You can set the from, you can set the reply to email IDs, you can set the subject as you got from the parameters, and you can set the body. You can also set the to email. And once all this is done, you can pass this object to the transport.send, and you are done. The message will be sent, and you can print in the console and see if it is being sent. So once this is done, so basically our sending the email part is done, right? Now we have to look into the scheduling part of it. How do we schedule these emails to be sent in particular times that we want to send them? So for this, we will be using a Quartz, as I mentioned earlier, and this is how things work in Quartz. Quartz has jobs, and each of these jobs have triggers, and each of these jobs and triggers have schedulers. So you can create a job, you can create a trigger, and you can make use of a scheduler to trigger this job at whatever time you want to trigger it. So to show how the whole working of this email is being done, I've created two jobs. The first job will send an email to myself, like my own email ID. with this subject and with this body. The second job will send an email to me again, but with a different subject and a different body. The times will also be different. This thing, the trigger is basically telling you the time, the object that tells you the time, and this is the times at which it will be sending me the mail, this part right here. So it looks really weird, right? But the thing, the whatever this signifies is, it is basically a cron expression. It is something that specifies at what times a particular job has to be triggered. So let's go see what cron expressions are. Now this is basically the syntax of a cron expression, or the parts to a cron expression. The first star is nothing but the minute. The second one is the hour. The third one is the day. The fourth one is the month. And the fifth one is the day of the week. So if you see here, I have made use of the first one alone, the first part alone, which is 0/30. If you want me to describe what this cron is, you can see here it means every 30 seconds. Okay, I will zoom it. Every 30 seconds starting at 0/0th second after the minute. So if this is, let's say, 5, then it would mean every 30 seconds starting at the 5th second after the minute. So it is basically, if you look at this, it is nothing but every 30 seconds it will send this mail. It will send the mail with this subject and this body. And for the second job, it will send a mail after every 45 seconds. So that is what it means. So our jobs are set, our triggers are set. So we have to schedule the jobs using this job and trigger object. So I've created one scheduler for the first mail and another scheduler for the second mail. And you will start these schedulers. You just have to do it directly. There's no any, like, since you've already set the time that you want. Now let's go ahead and test how our application works. So the time now is 2:25:49. I will go ahead and run this right now. So it will wait till the 0th second of the next minute, basically now. So both the mails, this mail and this mail, will have been sent now with different subjects. So see, I've got one subject and two subject, which have been both sent at 0th second. Now the next mail will be sent at the 30th second, but this will be the first mail alone. It will be the job one alone. And after that, in the 45th second, the second email will be sent. So be 4 more seconds. Okay, 2, 1, done. So the next mail has been sent. I have to go and see again. Yeah, this is just the first mail, just the first job. Now again in the 45th second, the second mail will be sent. 3, 2, 1. Yeah, so yeah, it's here. So this is the second mail. So it will keep running for 100 seconds, but I'm pretty sure you've understood the working by now. So that's how this scheduler and scheduling works. So if you look at a larger picture, you can, if you're like actually building a product that requires scheduled notifications or some user updates, then you can make use of a scheduler that's running in the background like this. Or usually cron schedules and cron jobs are used in taking like backups of database at particular intervals, or running some batch processes and things like that. So that's all about quads. I think it's a huge library with a lot of use cases and applications that can be made use of, out of which I've taken a very small case today and showed you how it really works. And you can find all the links to the code, the links to the sites that I showed today and everything. So just make use of it and have fun. Go ahead and experiment. Stay tuned until the next update.